Hello everybody. Welcome to the Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi dated 27th March 2026, where we would try to comprehensively analyze 7 articles in 2 different sections along with your daily mains answer writing program. In the analysis part, we will first have a comprehensive discussion with respect to the patent expiry of semaglutide based anti-obesity drugs at a time when India is facing a silent epidemic of obesity. Then, in the second article, we will have a discussion with respect to the recent verdict of Los Angeles jury holding tech giants like Meta and Google liable for social media addiction induced harm in young people. Then, in the prelims pointer section, we will have a discussion with respect to 5 different articles from the special perspective of your upcoming UPSC prelims exam 2026, along with some of the value additions. Coming to the very first topic of today's discussion, it is regarding the patent expiry of semaglutide based drugs. These semaglutide based drugs are anti-obesity drugs which are also used to treat diabetes. Now with the expiry of these patents in India, specifically in India, the cheaper version of these drugs, you can say the cheaper generic drugs of this semaglutide, they will now be available to the masses, and it will expand the access of anti-obesity medication to at a critical time in India, where India is facing silent epidemic of obesity. Silent epidemic of obesity means that more and more people are becoming obese. More and more people are gaining weight because of sedentary lifestyle, because of eating of bad food, all those things. Clear? Now, why it is important for us? Because it is part of GS paper 2 within social justice. You have management of health and human resources. It comes within this section. Clear? So let's see. First of all, we should understand what is GLP-1 drug and what is semaglutide. These two terms are in news. We should understand what are these terms, the basic of these terms. Clear? So what is GLP-1? GLP-1 is a glucagon-like peptide 1. It is a natural hormone produced in your small intestine. GLP-1 is a natural hormone produced in the small intestine. What is the work of this hormone? It helps regulate blood sugar within the body by telling the pancreas to release insulin after you eat and signals the brain that you are full. Once you have eaten your meal, there is a signal which goes to your mind which says that now your stomach is full, stop eating, do not eat more. Okay. That signal is sent by this hormone GLP-1. Now the problem with this hormone is that the natural GLP-1, it breaks down in the body within few minutes. Let's say within 10 to 20 minutes it breaks down. That's why sometimes you must observe that even after having a full meal, you again feel hungry after some time. Clear? Now what does semaglutide does? Semaglutide is a lab-made drug designed to mimic the natural hormone. It mimics the natural hormone. The advantage of this is that semaglutide is modified to stay in the body for an entire week. Now look at the difference here. It was 10 to 20 minutes and it is staying here for 7 days. So this lab-based drug, this is the active ingredient which is used to make medicines. Now this, what it does is it helps your brain, gives signals to brain that your stomach is full. This GLP-1 hormone, it is like an alarm. It is like an alarm. It gives an alarm to the signal that your stomach is full. But semaglutide is like a loudspeaker. Is like a loudspeaker which tells very clearly and very loudly throughout the entire week that your stomach is full, do not eat too much. So this drug, or you can say the medicines made up of this active ingredient, semaglutide is an active ingredient. From this active ingredient, this API, further drugs are made, and these drugs were made by a Danish company, Novo Nordisk. This Novo Nordisk was the company which did the invention of this drug, and they were having patent of this drug which has been expired now. You must have heard the name of Ozempic, which is a weight loss drug and also used in diabetes. Then it also had a drug named Wegovy and Rybelsus. These were the 3 branded drugs which were sold by Novo Nordisk. Now the patent has been expired. The generic version will be made by Indian companies also, and more than 50 companies have put in their hands to make this drug, seeing the large opportunity of this drug in India. Now why this is a particular structural inflection point? Because the primary patent, as we have discussed, of this semaglutide has been expired in India. Now remember, this term expired in India. This patent has not been expired in USA and Europe. It has just been expired in India on March 2026, whereas patents in US and Europe will extend up to 2030s. Now the price, which was earlier from 8,000 to 16,000 per month of this drug, now has been reduced to as low as 12 to 1500 per month. From 8 to 16,000, now the price is 12 to 1500. So it is a reduction of almost 70-80% of price. Clear? So new Indian generic drugs will be launched at 1290 per month. The lowest price has been 1290. Now this will make the accessibility of the luxury drug. It will be accessible to millions of Indians who are diabetic. Okay? It will not only help in weight loss, it also helps in diabetes control. So this is why it is an important development with respect to our country. Now obesity in India, you must be knowing what is obesity. Basically it is the common measure using, it is commonly measured using BMI, body mass index. Basically it tells you how much more weight you have gained with respect to your body size, what should be an ideal weight and how much you are. So generally it is the ratio of person's weight with their height, which both are squared. And if the BMI, there is an index to calculate BMI, below 18 you are malnutrition, above 25 you are overweight, and above 30 you are obese. Clear? So anybody who is around 22, 23, 24, they are fine. Now India is facing a silent epidemic, a transition. We are facing a transition from undernutrition to dual burden of malnutrition. Now undernutrition means that you do not get the enough nutrition. Malnutrition includes both undernutrition and overnutrition. Clear? So now we are having dual burdens. Two Indias basically. One India which is hungry, who are facing undernutrition, and one India which is having enough amount of food, but they are eating bad foods, which is leading to overconsumption and obesity. Clear? So we are having dual burden of malnutrition. Now National Family Health Survey 5, it said that 24% of women and 23% of men are overweight or obese right now. So basically the proportion of women overweight are more as compared to the men, because men largely they sometimes go out to do some hard work, women largely do work in home. So physical activity of men are a bit extra as compared to the women, which can be observed here. Now around 1/3 of the Indian population may now be overweight or obese. Or these are the latest estimates, that by now this percentage from 22, 23, 24, it must have been increased up to 33%. And 41 million children, that's roughly 4 crore children, have high BMI as compared to what should be in their age group. Now there is a rapid increase throughout all the age groups. It's not as if just a few people in certain age group they are becoming obese. Everybody is becoming. See this data here. It talks about young children's adolescent between 5 to 14. In 1990, India had 4.6 million. Now increased to 13.3. Roughly 3 times it has been increased in the last 20-30 years, and it is projected to further increase to 16.1 million. This is children from 5 to 14 age group. Now you see between 15 to 24 age group, again here from 4 million our number has increased to 16, roughly 4 times, and will further increase to 22. And similarly, if you see the trend here on people above 25 years of age, now see in India this was 1999, or this is 1990, this is 2021, and this will be the number in 2050. Now the same trend can be seen in USA, China and India, but the pace of growth in India is much higher as compared to the China and USA. So this will keep on increasing. And if you see the gender and regional patterns, you will see that women are more obese as compared to the men, and the affluent groups are more obese. The proportion of obesity is high in urban areas as compared to the rural areas. However, the recent trends have suggested that the rate of increase of obesity in rural area is also picking up. So rural obesity is rising rapidly. Earlier, what we used to say that people in urban areas have sedentary lifestyle, but the same trend can now be observed in rural areas also. Fine. Now we'll see what are the causes of this obesity. What ultimately leads to this overweight. First is your dietary transition. We are transitioning from our raw food towards ultra processed high sugar fat foods, largely fast food and sugary beverages. The culture of eating out, the culture of McDonaldization, which has been a Western concept previously, now has been copied in India. The habit of eating out every day. This is a major issue which leads to obesity. This along with the sedentary lifestyle, where there is increased urbanization, you are doing more and more desk jobs. For you also, most of you are studying right now, so you must not be getting time to do physical activity. So this becomes a sedentary lifestyle, and you must have observed during this preparation you tend to gain weight. And increased screen time. Clear? Then you have socioeconomic factors in the form of rising income, higher calorie intake, healthy, well-fed perception. There is a perception in Hindi that खाते पीते घर के, ठीक है? That perception also leads to obesity. Now, what earlier people used to think that khate pite karke, it is an issue, it is obesity, which has to be recognized. Then there are biological and genetic factors within India. The people in South Asia generally, they are a bit more fat around their abdomen. Okay? You have thin fat Indian phenotype. Basically, what this thin fat phenotype means, that overall your body is thin, but at stomach you have some obesity. So this type of pattern is observed a lot in South Asian countries. Then abdominal fat in women is also high in India and other neighboring countries. Then you have urbanization and built environment. There is lack of walkability, poor physical activity, space is there in India. The free spaces, the open spaces, parks, these days we see that they are constantly being encroached for parking, for building, for construction, other purposes, whatever. So parks are not left too much. There are not walkable spaces. In fact, I'll also say that the temperature of this country is not suitable for walking a lot. You see a lot of people do cycling and walking in countries like Netherlands, UK, but there the temperature is favorable for that particular thing. In India, it is not favorable as such. And last is your stress and mental health issues, which lead to work stress and poor dietary choices. When somebody is going through stress, what they resort to? They resort to junk eating. They resort to unnecessary eating or stress eating, which further leads to obesity. Clear? Now, what impact does it create? It leads to your health impact in the form of diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases. They will keep on increasing with time. Then in India, India is also called as diabetes capital. Clear? And one of the reason for this diabetes prevalence in India so much, it is because of this poor poor health system, or you can say the entire life cycle of us, which has become sedentary. Then increased cancer risk will be there because of this obesity also. Then apart from health, you'll have economic burdens also in the form of rising healthcare cost. When you have more and more disease, they are not, social security is not easily provided in India. The government hospitals are not well functioning, so you ultimately tend to go to the private hospital, where it will have a dent on your pocket. Then there will be loss of productivity. Now whatever time which will be spent in the hospitals could have been used somewhere else in the productive work or for earning some money, but that is wasted. Then you have social impact also in the form of reduced quality of life. The people who are generally obese, they lack confidence, they does not feel good in the society. So it also leads to mental health issue, body image and stigma. What we have seen a pattern in obese people is generally they stop buying a more amount of clothes. Obese people buy lesser clothes because they themselves feel stigmatized, they themselves believe that we are not looking good. The patterns are observed as such in countries which are having more obese people. The pattern shifted from buying clothes to buying bags and shoes. Clear? So these are some of the impacts of obesity on your health, economy and social. Then we'll see the obesity in India. What are the government initiatives, what government is doing, what various steps some of the initiatives are being taken by FSSAI. For example, the Poshan Abhiyan, the National Nutrition Mission, basically targets both undernutrition and obesity through dietary intervention and behavioral change. See, India is facing dual burden of malnutrition, which includes both undernutrition and obesity. Now, Poshan Abhiyan focuses on providing nutritious meal, providing behavioral change through its campaigns and activities. Then you have Eat Right movement by FSSAI. It promotes safe, healthy food habits through social media campaigns. Clear? Then you have Fit India movement, again, just like Eat Right movement. You have to eat right, you have to be fit also, you have to do activities. Again, it encourages active lifestyle through regular fitness campaigns through social media. A constant nudging is being done by FSSAI through these activities. Nudging means basically whenever they pop up something on your screen through these campaigns, it somewhat promote you to do physical activity. It somewhat promotes you to do or you can say to eat healthy food. That's why it is generally advised that you paste something like this in front of your wall, that eat healthy, run every day, so that it constantly nudges you. It creates a behavioral change in your mind regarding these activities. Then there is school health program under Ayushman Bharat, which focuses on healthy eating, physical activity and periodic health checkups within the school. It is part of your broader Ayushman Bharat scheme, which is regarding your health. Then there is Trans Fat Free India, again by FSA, to eliminate the industrially produced trans fat. Now, trans fat is the worst form of fat which can be seen in the processed food. Mostly it is being eliminated, but still they have a lot of fats in the processed food. And the smaller, you can say, eateries on the roads, on the streets, they are not regulated properly by FSSAI. So they have, even the food which they are serving, it is high in trans fats. Then you have fortification of food to provide for nutrition, basically, like rice, wheat, edible oil, they are being fortified with some other element like your iodized salt. Within salt, iodine has been added so that your body gets iodine as a nutrition. Similarly, you add other things within banana, wheat, rice, more nutrition can be added and provided through this. Then you have healthy food environment guidelines, again by FSSAI, to regulate availability of unhealthy food in school canteens and public places. Basically, these regulations says that around the school, in the school premises, unhealthy food should be discouraged. It should be it should not be easily accessible to students in those premises. So it is not only the role of government to look after these things, it is also the role of parents. They should also inquire in whatever school their children are going, what kind of food they are getting. So these things can be done. Despite these initiatives by government, there are still, the obesity is prevalent in India. There are still challenges within obesity. Now why we are having challenges despite so many initiatives? Because of limited knowledge in the people regarding healthy diets and fitness. People generally, as we discussed earlier, say that khate pite घर का बच्चा हमारा, but they does not realize, they do not have the knowledge that this is not a good sign if your child is obese. Then cultural practice of India, which prefer high calorie Indian cuisine. The culture, it's generally we have a habit of gifting sweets during festivals. Now these sweets are not good for body. Then you have accessibility and affordability. The cost of fresh fruits, vegetables and other healthy options is very high. Largely you can see anywhere, if you go and eat let's say avocado toast and some other vegan food, they should be cheaper as compared to other foods because they are less processed, but still they are sold at a premium. Then you have policy gaps with the, like your weak food labeling laws and junk food ads. They are not regulated properly. A lot of false advertisement is done by companies which are now being targeted on social media. Now some changes are happening regarding this false labeling. Then you have shortage of nutritionists and dietitians within the country. Even if we have these people around us, we are not willing to pay them for their service. And then obesity and undernutrition coexistence in low income group. This is again a challenge. Within low income, you have both obesity and undernutrition together prevalent. So what can be done with this regard? What can be the way forward? See, the best option is the preventive approach. This is the most important, the best approach. You have to prevent the obesity before it happens. Promote healthy diets, physical activity and school-based intervention in the form that at least students in the school, they should be physically active, they should not become obese. This is the best solution. Apart from this, what more can be done? Policy measures in the form of tax on sugary drinks can be increased so that they become expensive and they become less affordable to people, because ultimately they will harm the health. Then front of the label packing. Instead of having labels at the back, you should have label in the front so that people read it and they get to know about it, that what constitutes within this processed food. Then you have regulation of junk food ads. It should be properly monitored. Any false advertisement or surrogated advertisement should be punished hard. Then you have health system strengthening. How you strengthen the entire health system? By integrating obesity screening in healthcare. Sometimes obesity is not even considered as a disease by people. They think it is just a lifestyle problem which can be solved easily. But it should be screened within the healthcare system. Person should be told that you are facing obesity, which is not good for your health. In the initial screening days, in the primary screening, it should be done. Then behavioral counseling should be done regarding that. Then urban planning, walkable cities, cycling infrastructure has to be created at least in those places where it can be done. Right now, our walkable cities, the cycling infrastructure wherever we have, they are largely encroached either for parking purpose or for by the street vendors or something else. Then you have to incentivize healthy choices. For example, subsidized fruits, vegetables and other nutrition food items. For example, what we have seen, even in the government offices where they have subsidized canteens, even there they are not providing healthy options. People in government offices and who are well educated, who are sitting on good positions, they have canteens which are subsidized. Still they are eating bad food there, highly processed junk food. They are not getting any healthy options, and no one is raising voice because lack of knowledge. Clear? And last is targeted use of drugs. Even if the semaglutide based drugs are becoming cheap, that does not mean that we just rely on that. Okay? It should be used largely for clinically obese patients only whose obesity level is way high and it cannot be easily reduced, and under medical supervision. Now see, we also have to understand the role of new drug, that this is not the ultimate panacea of every issue regarding obesity. Okay. Yes, it will have some benefits in the form of effective in weight loss and diabetes control. Largely, it should be limited to people who are controlling diabetes. With patent expiry, there will be cheaper genetics and widely accessible to people, so it will be helpful for them. It can be used in high risk population. However, what we should keep in mind is that there are certain limitations also within this kind of drugs. For example, it is not a mass solution. There are risk of over medication without the guidance of doctor. If you start taking this medication on your own, it can have very severe negative effect on the body. It can have side effects. Largely the side effects are not much as of now, but who knows, after few years there might be some side effects. But as of now, no major side effects are there because of these drugs, but still they have to be taken based on the recommendation of the doctors. Then obesity is multifactorial, cannot be solved by drug alone. There are multiple factors we have seen: junk food, sedentary lifestyle, policy, your urban issues, so many of things, cultural, social cultural issues, all has to be dealt together. You can't rely on just one drug and keep all other things aside. And then drugs are complementary, they are not substitute for public health measures. So they can be used along with other measures, other preventive measures. It's not as if you just rely on drug. Fine. So I hope this topic is clear to you guys. What has happened right now? Now you are clear with GLP-1, semaglutide, the patents, its expiry, how this drug will affect people in India, the nature of obesity in India, and all those things we have done. Now what is your work is, you have to write answer on this question, that India is witnessing a transition from undernutrition to overnutrition. Discuss the cause and consequences of rising obesity in India and suggest a multi-dimensional strategy to address this emerging public health challenge. Write this answer and practice this. Now the second topic talks about the recent judgment by a Los Angeles jury which held tech giants like Meta and Google liable for addiction-induced harm in a young woman. Now this marks a turning point where now we recognize social media addiction as a public health issue rather than just an individual behavior problem. So social media addiction is now seen as a public health issue collectively, with a lot, because a lot of people are affected because of it. Now why it is important for us? Because of the vulnerable section of population in the form of children or other youth who are affected by this social media addiction. Then you have issues related to health, mental health here, and human resources. A lot of time gets wasted. It affects education in some or other way. Clear? So what we'll see first is, what is social media addiction? So it is a form of behavioral addiction characterized by excessive use of social media, scrolling the reels again and again, loss of control. For example, you wanted to scroll for just 10 minutes but end up spending 2 hours over the reels. Then you have continued use despite harm. You know you are wasting your time. You know this time will not come again, and it can be used productively for studying or doing some other work. But still, you are compulsively addicted to that particular thing. You are not able to leave the reels. That is an issue. That becomes addiction. It is not formally classified like substance abuse or drugs, but linked to dopamine-driven reward cycle. When you see new and new reels, you get a dopamine effect. You get high on dopamine. You feel light, you feel good, and you keep on scrolling in that manner. What is the magnitude of this problem in India? See, India has the second largest social media user base because of our high population, other than China. Average usage of social media in India is 2.5 to 3 hours per day. And for people who are severely addicted, this can go to 8-9 hours in a day, which is huge. In India, we have over 970 million internet users. This is the latest data from Economic Survey. 970 means 97 crore internet users. Now, platforms like Instagram and YouTube have become deeply embedded in daily life, raising concerns about mental health and productivity in India. Now, studies suggest 10 to 15% of the adolescents, they show addictive patterns. Already 10 to 15% people are showing addictive patterns. That means around 10 crore people. This is such a huge number. Now, what are the different social media platforms? Your social networking platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn. Then you have microblogging sites like Twitter. Then you have photo video sharing sites like YouTube, Instagram. Messaging apps like Telegram and WhatsApp. Then you have discussion forums like Reddit and Quora. A lot of people are addicted to reading things on Quora and Reddit also, just because they sound interesting. It's not as if that they are reading something which will be productive, which will be used for them, used by them in the exams or something like that. They are reading random things on Quora for hours, which are not even useful. Clear? So we'll see what is the cycle of this social media addiction. Basically, it starts with the first entry where you just sign up for any site. It becomes a routine thereafter. You again and again come back to it, and the routine escalates over time. The time spent on social media increases over time. You know that it is creating an impact over your mind and body, but still you cannot leave it. Then you try to attempt leaving it, but ultimately again and again you relapse back to the social media sites. You are coming back to the social media sites. Then it creates a dependency. That means that it is a compulsive need to check social media every few minutes or every few hours. Even if you are not having anything important, you just feel like urging again and again checking your social media, seeing how many likes, followers, comments, whatever you have got. It leads to further isolation in the society because you are stick to your phones, you are not talking to somebody else, you are not spending time with other people. It leads to isolation in the real world, which ultimately leads to awareness that you are becoming isolated, you are becoming depressed and dependent on it, but still you cannot do anything. This is called addiction. Clear? And what are the signs of social media addiction? Lastly, when you spend a lot of time on social media, or you feel anxious and irritable on other times when the social media is not accessible to you, you start feeling anxious that I want my phone back. Then you choose social media over other activities. People stop playing in the grounds, they are using social media instead of playing in the ground. These are the signs of addiction. Then you go offline to ignore real life concerns and emotions. Basically you go online to ignore. You have some problems in life, you are like, okay, I'll scroll the reels and I'll feel like all the problems have been solved. You're cutting yourself from the problems for a short period of time rather than solving those problems. Then you spend your time spent online causes problems at work or school. Basically it eats up your study time. Or there are other people who express concern regarding your social media use. So when your parents, you can say, they argue with you regarding your use of phone and mobile and other things, they are right in their sense because they can observe you are being addicted to their mobile phones. Clear? So these are some of the signs of social media addiction. Now, what are the causes which lead to this addiction? First is algorithmic design, and this is the main cause, which has been the reason this Los Angeles jury has held Google and Meta liable for it, because they create algorithm in such a way that it leads to infinite scrolls, it leads to autoplay, constant notifications are being given by these sites to open up these apps. Clear? Then they are designed for maximum engagement, basically your attention economy. They are gathering this at attention economy. See, how will they create maximum engagement? Sometimes they promote conflicting content, they promote violent content because it can be shared more, it can be spread more. So these algorithms are designed in such a way that they promote maximum engagement. Then you have psychological factors, for example, need for validation, likes and shares. On nowadays, people are judged based upon how many followers they have, how many likes they are having, rather than the values they hold. There is a fear of missing out, FOMO, in almost everything. One trend, if somebody does some trend, the video goes viral, everybody starts doing that trend. If they do not do, they feel like they are missing out on something very important, which actually is not. Then you have socio-cultural factors like your peer pressure, largely in your schools. Nowadays, everybody in school, college, they have their mobile phones, so you feel peer pressure to join those networks. Then you have influencer culture. In India, we have 10 crore influencers. 10 crore. The number is huge, although most of them are very small. They are not even earning money, but it is a huge number. Then you have digital identity, shaping your self-worth. People assess their self-worth based upon their digital identity. It's like a metaverse. You are living in a bubble in the online identity. Then we have cheap data and 5G rollout thanks to the Reliance Jio. India has some of the world's most affordable data, removing barriers for high intensity streaming. Now, in some countries, what happens? High intensity streaming, it consumes a lot of data, so it becomes expensive, which will deter them from doing this. But in India, that data is among the cheapest in the entire world. In fact, the data earlier it was entirely free. Now they are being charged, but still, even today, the data is very cheap in India. Then you have pandemic effect. That means there was increased dependency during the COVID-19 pandemic. the habit of using more and more social media, it increased during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, what impact it leads over individuals? First is your mental health. It leads to depression, anxiety, loneliness. It leads to body image issues, especially due to visual platforms like Instagram. Basically, you tend to compare yourself every time to somebody else and feel anxious and depression. There is cognitive and behavioral effects in the form of reduced attention span, because people are watching more and more reels. They are not consuming long form content. And then there is sleep disruption. If you do not sleep properly, it affects your entire body working and your mind also. So these are the effects which are seen. Then you have social consequences in the form of weakening of real world relationships. People are now having less offline friends and more online friends. They do not have somebody to talk to in their life, but they have a lot of online friends. Okay? Then there is cyberbullying. A lot of vulnerable people, body shaming is done, or women are targeted. All these things are done. Then you have economic impact in the form of reduced productivity. People, in fact, during their work also, they are scrolling reels, which reduces their productivity, reduces the productivity of entire system. It leads to digital distraction within the workforce. Okay? So these are some of the impacts of scrolling through social media and its addiction. Now, what are the legal and ethical dimensions within it? See, you have platform accountability right now, which we are in this context, we are studying this thing. Should companies be liable for addictive design? The companies have a work, they have provided you a, you can say, particular platform. Now it depends upon you, you use it or you misuse it. Why should companies be held liable? This is the argument of companies. They say that you can compare it with tobacco and alcohol companies. Now alcohol also causes issues in your body. It leads to liver failure. Tobacco leads to your cancer and lung issues, but they are not held liable. Then why social media platform companies are held liable? This is basically a argument given by the platform companies. Then you have freedom versus regulation issues, that how much you regulate, and you cannot regulate this much that the entire freedom is wiped out. So balancing freedom of expression over online content with protection. Then your data and algorithm transparency. Now the transparency is something which is highly lacking within the system, but the companies are also saying that we cannot make everything public. It will lead their issues in their operations. So lack of accountability in recommendation system. Now you do not know easily how they recommend systems, and once you start doing one kind of videos, they'll again and again recommend the same things. Now this social media regulation in India is done based upon some of the acts, like IT Act is the major. This is the main law governing digital platforms, IT Act of 2000. Now within IT Act, you have safe harbor in the form of Section 79 of IT Act. Now it says intermediaries like these platforms, they get liability exemption for user content if no control or modification. Basically, the company says that somebody is posting something on social media. Why should we be liable? We are just a platform. So this section gives them exemption. But now the question over this exemption comes because of this judgment. Clear? You have IT rules of 2021 which mandate consent removal and your user safety grievance redressal over social media platforms. Somebody else, if somebody has cyberbullying, they can complain against that. Then cover issues like piracy, defamation, and national security over IT. A lot of fake news also keep going on. They are also checked through these rules. Then you have 2023 amendments which are posed due to Supreme Court judgments. They require removal of fake content about the government. A lot of fake things about the government can be posted, but government says that through this amendment we can direct the companies to remove that content. But the implementation is stayed by Supreme Court right now. Then you have judicial safeguards in the form of Shreya Singhal versus Union of India case, in which the section 66A of IT Act was struck down. Basically, this protects free speech. This article, this section says that the free speech can be curtailed, but because of this Shreya Singhal judgment, basically the Supreme Court said that you cannot curtail individuals' liberty to write something, to post something online. So it is against the freedom of expression. Then you have KS Puttaswamy versus Union of India case recently, in which the right to privacy was recognized as fundamental right under Article 21. So within this, you have right to forgotten also, that if somebody wants to delete their account online, their entire data, their entire history will be deleted. So they should be forgotten from the system. In this way, you can change your entire algorithm. Clear? So apart from this, your Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023 is also a major act which looks after various aspects of the social media. You can read this in detail. Finally, despite there are some regulations, there are IT acts, there are Supreme Court judgments, still we have some of the challenges. Why these challenges? Because there is a lack of legal definition of addiction. What addiction means legally. Now, we know what addiction means, but there is not a legal definition of this. Then there is strong lobbying by the big tech players in the form of your Alphabet, and you have Meta. Alphabet is the parent company of Google. Then you have other platforms which promote social media sites. Okay, all these things. For example, you have LinkedIn. Then there is enforcement issue of the laws which have been made by the government. There are digital literacy gap. People are not aware of their rights. Sometimes what happens, they put tick to everything which has been asked by these platforms. These platforms take unnecessary consent from people. People lack knowledge that they can deny this also. Then there is difficulty in regulating algorithms. See, algorithms are highly advanced. They are tech driven. It is not easy to regulate them. So it is only these big tech companies, they have the power to right now to regulate and improve these systems and algorithms. Clear? So what can be the way forward? How we can improve these things? See, first is regulatory measures. There should be an audit of the algorithms. There should be clear knowledge of how these algorithms work, how they push a particular type of content towards one person. So these have to be audited. Their working has to be publicly laid down, that how they work, what they does. Okay, so that if there is any issue, that can be rectified. Age-based restrictions should be there. For example, recently you must have read that Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, I think they have they are in talks of, or you can say they are preparing to put some limitations on the use of social media by children. Basically, they said that children should not get access to the social media. Australia also passed this law that I think, I'm not remember exactly, that students or children below 13 or 16 year of age, they will not be allowed to access social media. Then you have time limit feature. In every ID, within ID you can put a time limit that this ID can scroll the social media for next 1 hour or 2 hour at max in a day. After that, there will be a lockdown within that app for 24 hours. This type of things can be done by the companies. Then there are platform responsibilities. These companies have to take some responsibility. They have to make ethical design of their algorithms. There should not be any dark pattern which promote unnecessary scoring of reels. And then there should be transparent recommendatory systems where they can transparently tell what they are doing, how they are promoting their platforms. Fine. And then you have public health approach by recognizing it as a behavioral health issue. Now, we cannot simply say that social media addiction is just an individual problem. It is becoming a larger public health issue because so many people are affected by this thing. Integrate this approach of public health into school health programs. Basically, in the schools, the students should also be taught about the mental health issues. The mental health issues which would be originating because of these social media addiction. And then awareness and digital literacy. Entire country, they require education for almost everything. So educate youth on healthy usage habits. And last is individual level measures. What individual persons can do, what you and me can do. We can limit our screen time. We ourselves can put limitation and restrictions over the use of social media. There are a lot of apps in both Android and Apple which puts a restriction on the screen time of your phone. So we can do that. We can do digital detox practice. Digital detox is the practice of leaving all the digital assets aside and spending all your time, let's say an entire day, without any digital device throughout the day. It can be your phone, tabs, computer, TV, everything. So that is called digital detox. Basically, you detox your body entirely. It also will help you identify whether you are addicted or not to the social media apps. Clear? So these are some of the measures, the regulatory measures, what government can do, the platform measures, what company can do. This is what government can do. This is what companies can do. This is what your, again, broader level society can do, public health approach society. And this is what individuals can do on their own. Clear? So these are the issues regarding your social media addiction. Now what you guys have to do, you have to attempt this question. It says social media addiction is emerging as a major public health concern in India. Examine its causes and consequences and suggest a multi-pronged strategy to address it. Basically, we have discussed all these aspects. You practice and write an answer regarding this. Clear? And coming to the first prelims pointer, it is regarding foreign exchange reserves of India. Basically, this was an article where RBI said that because of war, there are some issues in that a lot of foreigners are selling Indian shares, but still we have a good amount of forex reserves with us. So RBI said that foreign exchange forex reserves remain adequate to provide cushion for against any external shock. Basically, it says that 12.1 billion dollars of shares have been sold in stock market by the foreign institutions. Still, what it is creating a drag on the Indian rupee. The value of Indian rupee is falling down because the dollars are coming out and going out of the country. Now, as the dollars will be less in our country, their value will appreciate and rupee will depreciate. So it is this has dragged the rupee down to a new low almost every day. But right now, RBI is having $710 billion as forex reserve, which is close to the highest amount which they maintained at $728 billion. So they have enough forex reserves. Now, Indian forex reserve has four components, which we'll see later on. And apart from this, basically in these four components, we'll see later that you have foreign currency assets, gold, special drawing rights from IMF, and reverse trench positions from IMF. These four. In this order, their value is also given. Largely, for example, you can see that the SDRs we have a worth 18.7 billion. The reverse trench position is somewhere around 4.8 billion dollars, and rest you have majority in gold as 556 billion dollars and foreign currency assets in gold of 131 billion dollars. Clear? So we will see some of the things which are important for your prelims perspective in the foreign exchange reserves. Now, what is the foreign exchange reserve? Basically, it is a foreign currency asset held by a country's central bank. Basically, RBI in case of India. Whatever foreign currency assets RBI is having, they are forex reserves. Their main purpose is currency stability. For example, right now dollars are getting out of our country, so RBI puts a lot of dollar into the market. They try to maintain a balance. They meet external payment obligations. If we are importing something, we have to give payment to somebody else in dollar terms. Most of the world trade happens in dollar terms. So whenever we import something, we pay in dollars, not in rupees. Clear? And if the rupee will fall down against the dollar for the same thing, we'll now have to pay more money. Let's say earlier we used to pay 80 rupees for $1 of thing. Now we are paying the same $1 to that person, but in that $1 we have to pay 93 rupees. So it is also a cushion against economic crisis and capital flight. The capital flight right now which is happening when foreigners are taking their capital back. Clear? What are the components? We have already seen the foreign currency assets like your dollars and other currencies, Japanese yen, euro, pounds. In this form also we keep currency. Then we have gold as the second largest component. Then we have SDR, special drawing rights from IMF, and reverse trench positions again from the IMF. Now their valuation is expressed in US dollars. As we have seen right now, we are having $710 billion of forex. Now they change due to exchange rate, they keep on fluctuating. Now, some of the facts that they are managed by RBI and not by Ministry of Finance. India is among the top countries in terms of forex reserve. See, what you should understand is that the country with the highest forest reserve, or forest reserves, I'm saying it is foreign reserve. The country with the highest forex reserve, it is China, with around more than $3 trillion. Because it's not billion, it's more than $3 trillion. China. Then you have Japan, Japan with 1.5 trillion somewhere around. On third and fourth number, there is fluctuation position between Switzerland and India. Switzerland is also having their forex reserves somewhat around $700 billion, so they keep on changing position. There are claims that Russia also have high amount of forex reserve, but most of their assets are frozen because of sanctions and war. So these are the top 5 countries. Now, what is the source of this forex reserve? From where does it come? From exports, from FDI investments in India, the remittance which we get from our Indian diaspora outside, and external borrowings. If we do, let's say, something from World Bank, IMF, somebody other. Where they are used for payments in oil, defense. They are used for exchange rate intervention, like what RBI is doing right now. They are used for debt servicing. Debt repayments or interest over debt has also to be paid in US dollars. Now, generally what we have to keep in mind, one concept is import cover. Basically, how much forex we are having so that we can cover all our imports. Right now, we are having an import cover of 8 to 10 months, which is decent enough. in the balance of payment crisis of 1991, our forex reserve depleted so much that we had just 3 months of forex reserve left with us. That means that whatever oil, whatever gas we are importing, we can only pay for the next 3 months. So that level was so low at that time. Okay, now we see what are special drawing rights by IMF. See, special drawing rights are not a currency in itself. It is not a currency, it is a basket of currency. Basically, its weightage depends upon US dollars, which amounts for 43% roughly weight, euro 29% weight, Chinese weight was earlier in single digits, now increased to 12%, your Japanese yen around 7 to 8%, and British pound again 7 to 8%. Now these are the weightages within SDR. These currencies put together, they make 100 units of SDR. So any country can take this as SDR from IMF. These are value based upon basket of currencies. They are used by countries to supplement forex reserve whenever their forex reserve depletes, and they can be exchanged for freely and usable. They can be exchanged for any other currency, because within SDR also you are having currencies. You can exchange it with any other currency. These are globally recognized currencies which are easily recognized throughout the world, and that's why they are called as paper gold also. These SDR are called paper gold because they are so liquid, they can be easily exchanged with any other currency. They are useful. Clear? Now you must also know what is the reverse trench position. Again, it is by IMF, and UPSC has also previously asked this question in the prelims. Basically, it is a part of country's quota of the membership which they have paid to the IMF. Let's say I paid 100 rupees as a membership fee to IMF. Within that 100 rupees, 10 rupees I'll get as a reverse trench facility. So at any particular time, I can borrow that 10%. So amount country can withdraw from IMF any time, and there are no conditions attached while you are withdrawing. Unlike the IMF loans, whenever IMF give loans, they give a lot of condition that you open your economy, you make your economy more liberalized, more globalized. But if you want to take a reverse trench position, they do not put any conditions, and these are also considered very liquid and safe component of forex reserve, just like your SDRs. Now see this graph. This green represents foreign currency assets. Now this yellow is gold, then red is SDR, and very small amount is reverse trench position. So this shows how our assets are increased. You can see over time the value of gold has increased, and foreign currency assets form the largest share. Now let's see some of the exam traps. How you can be trapped in the prelims exam. They can say that this forex, or you can say foreign reserves, they are managed by Ministry of Finance. This is wrong. Then again they can say forex reserves include only foreign currency. Only is anyway an extreme statement. It is wrong. Then gold is not a part of forex reserve. Wrong. Then you have increase in forex reserves is always due to exports. Again this is wrong, because it is not always due to exports. Sometimes exports might reduce, but your remittance is increasing, FDI investment is increasing in the country. Because of that also your forex reserves can increase. And SDR is a currency like dollar. Again this is wrong. SDR is not a currency. It is a basket of currency represented by those 5 global currencies. Clear? These are some of the exam tests where you can take care of these things now. Fine, moving to the next topic. Now this is regarding an executive body, Registrar General of India. See, basically what happened that there are some of the offenses that officials participating in the upcoming census have been warned against by the Registrar General of India. Basically, India will be having a complete census in 2027. We had to do census in 2021, but because of COVID pandemic, it got delayed, and now it will be having in 2027. So that entire census will be taken look after by Registrar General of India and Census Commissioner. They conduct the census. Now they have put out some of the warnings to the officials who will be conducting census, that you cannot ask offensive questions, you cannot put derogatory remarks and all those things. Clear? And he said if something like this happens, these are punishable offenses, attracting up to 3 years of imprisonment or fines also under various central laws. Clear? So what we have to read here is Registrar General of India with the prelims perspective in mind. Now this is a permanent office created in May 1949 for systematic collection of population statistics. Basically population data or census ke liye this body was established. Now we see what are the functions of Registrar General of India. Basically they conduct housing and population census under your Census Act of 1948. Then they cover civil registration systems, CRS, under RBD Act of 1969. Then they cover National Population Register, NPR is also done by them, which was in news lately, and it is under Citizenship Rules and Citizenship Act of 1955. Then mother tongue surveys are also conducted by Registrar General of India. And lastly, your sample registration system, SRS. They were again in news recently. They are done by this Registrar General of India. ठीक है. What you must know is that this is the Registrar General of India and Census Commissioner of India is the same office. This is basically, they are the nodal authority to conduct census of India and maintain vital statistics regarding your birth and death. So they are the nodal agency to conduct census. They will be a lot in news in the next 1 to 2 years. So they always become important for Prince perspective. Now they function under the Home Ministry, Ministry of Home Affairs. Clear? Last census was completed in 2011, not conducted because of pandemic right now, and it was again, the last census was not conducted by Election Commission. It was done by Registrar General of India and Census Commissioner. Now, what is the most important thing regarding this body is this is executive body. It is not a constitution, not a statutory body. Fine. It gets its powers from various statutes of the government like Census Act or other citizenship rules, but it is not a statutory body. See, there is a difference between a body made under any law or a body getting power from any law. So this is not made under any law, so it is not a statutory, it is made by the executive action of government. So it is an executive body. Clear? Office created by executive, but functions are backed by a law. So what we have to keep in mind here, it is neither a statutory body nor a constitutional body. It is created in the Census Act. Again, this is wrong. It was not created in the Census Act because it is not a statutory body. Then it functions under Ministry of Statistics. Here you can get confused, but wrong. It functions under Home Ministry, Ministry of Home Affairs. Clear? Then where you can go wrong, that census is conducted by Election Commission. Again, if you are not very well read, if you do not think properly, you can do this question wrong. Election Commission does not conduct census. Census is done by Registrar General of India and Census Commissioner. Clear? And last is Registrar General of India only deals with census, not birth and death related data. Again, this is wrong. They deal with both census and birth and death related data. Clear? So make sure you again revise these exam traps and make sure you do not do any mistake again. Now the next question is regarding another international organization which is in news because of foreign ministers meet, the G7. Right now the foreign ministers of the G7 countries, they are meeting in Paris to discuss various issues. Now why this G7 is important, it can be easily asked in your exam. Your G7, G20, all these are important international groupings. Now what is G7? G7 is a you can say group of 7. It is an informal forum of world's most advanced countries. Now this thing is important. India is not a member of G7 because G7 comprises most advanced countries. That means most developed countries of the world. India is a developing country. Look at the G7. Who are part of it? Germany, UK, France, Italy. These 4 countries from Europe, then Canada and USA from North America, and Japan from Asia. Just 1 country from Asia. Earlier, Russia was also included as part of G8. The group became G8, but right now, because of war and sanctions, Russia has been excluded from this. After the annexation of Crimea by Russia, it was excluded from this group, and again G8 again became G7. If you see the larger G20, both China and India are part of G20 grouping. Here, the new emerging world powers, they also become part of G20. Clear? So what you have to see here is, what was the origin of G7? It was started as G6 countries in 1975 in response to the 1973 oil crisis and financial turmoil. Something similar kind of oil crisis can be seen today also if this Iran-Israel war does not stop. But in the next year, Canada was included in this G6 countries and it became G7. Later on, Russia joined in 1997 and it became G8, but it was removed in 2014 after the annexation of Crimea, Russia-Crimea war. Its headquarter is nowhere. There is no headquarter of G7. It is not a permanent body. It is an informal body. So by rotation wise, they keep on doing meetings in every other country. There is no permanent secretariat. It is an informal forum. So there is no treaty, no legal status. Clear? And decisions are non-binding because of informal nature. So you have to keep this in mind. What are the key focus areas? Largely, they focus on global economy, financial stability, climate change, geopolitics, security, development, and health, all the major issues. Basically, they also advise the developing countries through this informal grouping. Now, the summit of G7 is held annually with rotating presidency. The presidency among these 7 countries, it keeps on rotating, and India is also a partner in this G7. We take part as an observer and a partner in this G7, but we are not a member of G7. India is not a member, very important for us. We work as an outreach partner of this grouping, and European Union also participates separately. European Union also participates separately in this G7. These 4 countries are part of G7 from Europe, and rest of the Europe participates through European Union. Clear? So these are your G7 countries. What can be the exam traps here? Basically, they can say it is a formal international organization. This will become wrong. They have a permanent headquarter. Again, this is wrong. They do not have any headquarter. Decisions are legally binding. Since it is for informal nature, no decision is binding. All are non-binding. Then Russia is still a member. This is again wrong. Russia was part of G8, not G7. India is a member. Again, it is wrong. India is not a member of G7. India is just a member of G20. It includes China. However advanced China is, still China considers itself as developing nation. So China is also not part of it. So all the three, India, China, Russia, they are not part of it. From Asia, only one country is part of G7. Without looking back, comment in the chat section which country is part of G7 from Asia. Clear? Now we move ahead to the next topic, which is again regarding an executive body, ED, Enforcement Directorate. Basically, why it is in news? Because a lot of luxury villas and high-end apartments in Dubai, they have been, you can say, these properties were worth 1700 crores. They have been attached by ED in connection to Mahadev online betting scam. Basically, this was a app run by some person. He did a lot of scam and gathered a lot of money. Later on, this money was through Hawala and other channels, through black marketing. It was sent outside, and luxury properties were bought by this money. So ED now has the power to attach properties of such people, and these properties can later be sold by ED, and money recovery can be done. Now ED alleged that the assets were acquired from the proceeds of crime generated through illegal online betting operation through Mahadev platforms or the apps. Fine. What else? The proceeds were allegedly routed through thousands of mule accounts, that means fake accounts, using unsuspecting individual KYC documents, and later transferred abroad via Hawala channels, cryptocurrency, and layered finance transactions before being invested in high-end assets. Basically, all the money was sent abroad through Hawala channels, cryptocurrencies, and layered financial placements. Basically, in money laundering, they do layered placement. Small chunk of money is deposited in bank accounts and they are sent abroad. Clear? So we'll have to see what ED is, how it functions. See, Enforcement Directorate is basically, it is a premier financial investigating agency of India, tasked with enforcing economic laws like the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and Foreign Exchange Management Act. Basically, your FEMA, PMLA, and Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. It has the responsibility of enforcing these laws. It is the premier financial investigating agency. So any large crime of normal nature, criminal nature, has to be seen by CBI. Any large crime of financial nature has to be seen by ED. Fine. And why this Fugitive Economic Offenders Act has been created now? Because a lot of money has been taken out of India, and people like Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi, they do financial fraud in India and then they go abroad. So this law will deal with such kind of people and try to bring them back. So what ED does, it is basically an executive enforcement agency. As we have discussed, it is not statutory, non-constitutional. Again, non-statutory, non-constitutional. We have seen now 3 different bodies: your CBI, ED, and Registrar General of India. All 3 are executive bodies, non-statutory, non-constitutional. It works under the Ministry of Revenue and under the Department of Revenue and Ministry of Finance. So the ED, despite being an investigative agency, it is not under Ministry of Home Affairs. It is under Ministry of Finance. Clear? It was established in 1956 as Enforcement Unit. Later the name changed to Enforcement Directorate. Now we have seen it works under 3 different laws: FEMA, PMLA, and Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. Now what are the key functions? They investigate how the person has earned money illegally, how they have placed it into the system, how they have converted black money into white money. Then they handle foreign exchange violations. If somebody is bringing foreign money into India illegally, they look at those things. They can attach and confiscate proceeds of crimes. For example, in this case, if somebody has earned money and bought something illegally by doing something wrong, they can attach and confiscate those properties. And they files prosecution complaint in courts. They also have special courts with regard to these cases. Now, what are the important powers within ED? They can summon, arrest, search, and seizure under PMLA. They can summon anybody, go into anybody's house and search and do seize things. They have the provisional to attach property also of individuals. Earlier, they did not have this power. It was recently given to them. And statements made before ED are admissible in court. Unlike police, if any criminal gives any statement in front of police, they are not admissible in court. Court says that you must have forced that person to give the statement. But any statement given in front of ED, that is admissible in court. Clear? And what are the kind of nature of offences under PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act? Largely, they are cognizable and non-bailable. By cognizable means that you can arrest somebody without even having warrant. And once the person has been arrested, they will not get bail easily. So they are cognizable, arresting without warrant, and non-bailable. They cannot get bail easily. And they are linked to other scheduled offences also. Now they have their own adjudicating authorities, and they proceed case in special courts also. Later on, there are appeals which lie in appellate tribunals of PMLA. Even if somebody is not satisfied with the appellate tribunal judgment, the further appeal lies in high courts. Clear? And it has jurisdiction over all of India, and also cases with international linkages. If there is any case which Interpol has brought into limelight, or where India is also linked. In financial cases, CBI does not come forward. It is ED which takes care of those cases. Fine. Now, how money laundering is done largely? You see, money laundering is first to collect dirty money, money which can be collected either by corruption or any other illegal activity or organized crime. Then placement happens. Placement is the first step where direct money integrates into financial system. Basically, you are placing the money in the financial system. In small chunks, you deposit money. Let's say up to 50,000, there is no PAN card needed to deposit money in your account. And small transactions are not easy to track by government. So people convert a large sum into small chunks, and they convert into account of different people, and that gets placed into the financial system. Now, with this placement, layering is done. That funds transfer between various accounts, both onshore and offshore. Funds can be sent outside the country, and multiple layers of transactions are done. Because then when multiple layers of transactions are done, it is not easy to backtrack all the transactions. It becomes really tough task for the government or the ED or any other agency to track them. And finally, they gets integrated into the system by buying luxury products like villas, bungalows, luxury cars, watches, gold, diamond, anything. Clear? So this is how money laundering is done. You get black money, it gets placed in the financial system, multiple layers are created to confuse the agency, and then finally integration by buying luxury products or spending that money. Clear? So this is how black money is converted into white money. Fine. So why ED is in news and why it is important for us? Because see, the cases, PMLA and FEMA cases, their investigation, they are increasing every year. You can see the trend. This trend is right up to financial year 22. We still don't have the data of last 2 years, but the cases are continuously increasing. That's why ED becomes important. India is anyway becoming larger and larger in the economic terms. We'll be becoming a large economy in future. So we need such kind of agency to take care that economic frauds are minimized in our country. Fine. So what can be the traps? It is a statutory body. This is wrong. Non-statutory, non-constitutional body. It is an executive body. It deals with the Ministry of Home Affairs. Again wrong. It works under Ministry of Finance. It deals only with the corruption cases. Again, this is wrong. Only is an extreme statement. It deals with money laundering also, corruption also, foreign exchange regulation cases also, and fugitive economic offenders case also. Now, FEMA violations are criminal offense. Foreign Exchange Management Act. Now, violations under FEMA are civil in nature. They are civil in nature. The criminal offenses are under PMLA Act, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So, any offense under PMLA, money laundering, it is criminal offense. Any offense under FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management, it is civil offense. Fine. Then ED cannot arrest anyone without FIR. This is again wrong. You can say cases under it are cognizable, so without warrant person can be arrested. And last, it only investigates domestic crimes. Again, this is wrong. International crimes can also be investigated by ED. So these are some of the exam traps which you should take care of. Clear? So we move to the last prelims pointer of the day, that is regarding your again international organization OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Basically OECD looks after the economic development of the entire world. They keeps on projecting new reports. Economic Outlook report is brought out by OECD. Right now, basically why they are in news, because OECD said on Thursday it projected India's GDP growth to be 7.6% in the current fiscal year and 6.1% in the next financial year. Clear? So according to OECD, India will be having 7.6% of GDP growth in this year. And this is OECD's interim economic outlook report. Economic outlook is an important report which can be asked in your prelims exam. So make sure who releases this report? OECD. Clear? Basically they are saying because of war, it will push inflation up from 2% last year to 5.1% this year and 4.1% in the next year. So inflation will be rising because of the war. So what do you have to remember here from the prelims perspective? Now OECD is an intergovernmental economic organization to promote economic growth and prosperity throughout the world. Basically it was established in 1961 and right now there are 38 members of OECD. Before OECD in 1961 there were OEEC in 1948, basically Organization for European Economic Cooperation. This Organization for European Economic Cooperation, largely all the members were European countries in this organization. This was made to implement the Marshall Plan for redevelopment of Europe after Second World War. But later on in 1961, US, Canada also joined this organization and it became OECD. Clear? Now most of the countries here are developed and India again is not a member of this OECD. Clear? India is not a member of this, but we are a key partner. We are key partner in everything. जो भी platform बनेगा internationally, we are partner in that, but we are not active member of all of them. Okay, what are the objectives? Promoting economic growth, trade throughout the world, investments, policy coordination across the world. Then it is a platform for policy dialogues where different countries, different foreign ministers, or you can say different finance ministers can come and sit together, talk about policies. There are no financial lending done by OECD, unlike IMF and World Bank. So they do not engage in the activity of money lending. Clear? Their nature of decisions or discussion, whatever they do, they are non-binding. Okay? They are non-binding. What are the key reports which they release? Now key reports can be important because economic outlook is an important report which talks about how much any country will grow in that particular year, what are the future projections, what are the previous year growth trends, all these things. Apart from this, PISA, Program for International Students Assessment, these are the reports which are released by OECD. Now you can see these are largely your 38 countries, mostly developed from Europe, America, and your Australia, New Zealand. Japan is also part of it. South Korea is part of it. India is not part of OECD. China is also not part of OECD. Clear? Now what can be the exam traps here where you can find yourself in difficulty? It is not a UN specialized agency. It closely works with UN, but it is not a UN specialized agency. Now what is your homework is you comment in the comment section, put down all the 6 names of UN specialized agencies. There are 6 different UN specialized agencies. See how many you can remember. Now India is not a full member. India is just a partner. India is not a member of this, not even part-time member. They are headquartered in Geneva. Again, this is wrong. They are not headquartered in Geneva. And again, now it's your responsibility to find out where they are headquartered and comment in the chat section. Now decisions are legally binding. Again, wrong. They also do not provide loans like IMF and World Bank. Only European countries are member. Again, this is wrong. Your Canada and USA are also part of it. Australia is part of it. Japan, South Korea, they are also part of it. Clear? So that's it from my side, guys. I'll see you again in the next section. Make sure you write the answers which are given to you and you do your current affairs diligently. Now, thank you. I'll see you again.